Hello, I'm Ruth, and I'm speaking from my studio, Get Sewing and Quilting Done. And today I want to talk to you about applique. I've developed my own basic or default method of using my Bernina, and I just want to share it with you because I'm very happy with it. Let's get started. You're looking at our computer screen that we have within our sewing machine. I call it Control Center or my Command Center. It has a lot of other features besides just picking out what stitches we're going to use. And it's a good idea to use as much of these control functions, that's what I call them. It makes our sewing a lot easier and more pleasant, and we can do a lot of amazing things. When you begin, you start with it on utility stitches. That's what's highlighted in the right hand top corner, and it starts on 1. We're looking at the command center and we're beginning with the stitch plate. It's highlighted in 5.5 millimeter in yellow. The reason is because it's not the default stitch plate. I actually purchased the 5.5 millimeter. I would recommend doing it if your machine didn't come with it, but it's fine to use the 9 millimeter. You cannot use any other stitch plates, that is. What I did to get it highlighted is I just pressed on that icon and up it comes. The 9 millimeter has a star on it, and the 5.5 is highlighted because I had pressed it. Next to it is the punch and the cut. The punch I haven't used yet, but the cut means one little hole, and I use that for piecing and for quilting, anything that isn't using a zigzag or a decorative stitch or a specialty utility stitch that has width, because we're talking about how wide of a stitch it is. I do double check to make sure on my machine is the same thing that my computer thinks is there, because like I said, it doesn't know. I'm pointing at the utility stitches, but that icon that we're going to use is the quilting icon. That's what that represents. It's right above the heart, and it has all the stitches that it associates with quilting together. Now we haven't changed stitches yet until we highlight it. It still thinks it's on 1. After we press it, that's when it goes on. We're going to use 1354, and that is considered the satin stitch, or it is called the satin stitch. I do love the satin stitch. Here's a picture of what it looks like. You can see the little buckets have it surrounded, in several other places has the satin stitch and decorative stitches. I really love the satin stitch. The reason why we can't use it for what we're doing for regular applique is all those little holes that are created makes it more fragile, the fabric more fragile. Putting a quilt through the washing machine several times, you could imagine that will begin to fray and will wear, and that's not what we want. We want our children, our family members to enjoy the quilts for as long as possible. So you can see 1354 is highlighted now, and I've set it back to the default state because I want to show you how I do it. So I'm changing the thread length using the knob, and I'm going to go all the way up from 0.30 to 1.30. So I'm making it longer. You can see how it is. Now that's my sweet spot. You can experiment. Maybe you want it shorter. I wouldn't want it too much shorter, and maybe you want it longer, but experiment with it. On the bottom row of the icons, right above, not the black ones, the one row right above it, you can see the floppy disk. You want to press that. If you want to get rid of it, you just press the floppy disk with a line in it, but that's not what we want to do here. And you can see that the machine now has it highlighted. Now I'm lengthening it, and I'm going to show you what happens when I press the CLR button or the clear button, and it goes right back to what I've decided is the default. So I've done an override of what the machine is telling me what the default is. But let's say I want to use both in a block or a quilt. I press the stitch length, and up comes that box, and it was yellow because it wasn't the default. I press it and it goes to default. So what that enables me to do is do a clear or press that box and toggle backwards and forwards. So I'm using two stitches in one without getting rid of my default stitch. So it makes things a lot, excuse me, it makes things a lot easier for us. Going on from there, because now we can see everything is just about set up, but we want to tell the machine what foot I'm using. Now I use the 23 foot. It is my applique and embellishment foot, as long as I'm using under 5.5 width. I really love the foot, and it's telling me it's what it's good for. It's good for sewing on applique. It does not change from 1C because I don't have the upgrade, and the modern machines or the machines that have had the upgrade will tell you that it has the 23. It'll still say, but it is in there. It does know. Now we're looking at the next thing that we want to deal with, and that's that knot. So I'm going to press that knot, and if you see on the corner above the settings icon, you can see that there is a knot in white, and that's because if you get rid of the eye, it'll still tell you that your machine is going to knot as soon as it starts. You want to do that. You want to be able to see that. What that is that when I start, I want that knot. Now let's say I pressed it and I don't want it. I just press it again and it's gone. And I press it and it's back. Once you start stitching, it disappears because it's done what you told it to do. Now I want to get out of this, and I want to show you how I go into settings, because it does have a default knot. I really enjoy using the default knot, but sometimes I don't want it. So I'm going into settings, and I'm already in there, and I'm going to press on the top row, the left hand side, the utility stitches. That's what I call it. And I press on that little plus, and you can see the little needle pointing to a knot, and that's really convenient for when I'm sewing clothes and sometimes when I'm piecing, when I'm quilting. But when I'm doing applique, it kind of gets in the way. It doesn't always do it when I want it to do it, like it does when I'm sewing clothes. And sometimes I want to put in an extra knot. So what do? I just boop, and it's gone. I've now told the machine what to do. So it's got all these features, and when I don't want them, I don't have to have it. So you can see if you're confused where you are, there's three little lines. It says setting, utility stitches, and that little hand pointing to the buttons that are to the on our machine. And you have little arrows where those or little lines pointing where all those are. We're using the scissors today, and what I do is it's set up where I want it to be, so I want to undo it. You don't have to use that knot. You can just have it cut it, and if you use the knot, it wants to know what kind of a knot. So I use for applique those little 4 stitches and the 5th one in the middle, and you can use in a line. That I do for straight stitching, but for applique I use this, and then I just get out of it and it's done. So you'll see when I press that button, it'll cut it off beautifully, and it'll push them towards the back. This is the hover foot. I love the hover foot. For regular sewing clothes, and sometimes when I'm piecing, I just keep it there on the left, so when the needle's down, the foot doesn't go anywhere. For our purposes, for applique, or if I'm putting in a sleeve, I use the middle one where it hardly goes up. I use the one on the far right only if I'm using a lot of needles or embellishing. So you have the choice. See how it kind of goes up? So it gives you that you can just twist and turn and pull things and see where you are right there using that hover foot. I just want to say, as we get out of this, what I use to back the fabric, I use Easy Steam 2 by Pellin. There's other companies that also work really well. My favorite thread for just about everything is Bottom Line by Superior, and I'll leave links to both of those. Let's begin to sew. As you can see, everything is set up, but where's the bottom thread? So we want to get the bottom thread up, and it's important when it's in the middle, when you're not starting at the edge, because you want to be able to grab that bottom thread. So it's very easy. You just press, and I'll have a little picture come up. You press that button, and then you press it again, and the needle comes back up, and then you can pull the thread up. Now, if it's really short, you can use a tweezers. So I always use a tweezers because I've gotten used to it, because sometimes it's short. If it is too short, you can also do it again and it'll come back up. That's what I would recommend doing. And now you see the screen again, and it's telling you with that triangle, that white triangle and the line above, that you're not starting at the beginning. By pressing it, I'm telling it to start at the beginning. So you do want to check that. Now I'm pressing that knot, and now we're good to go. And you're going to see what it looks like when we sew. So it's going to take several little stitches in a row, and then we just begin to sew. There we go, and it's off. And you can see it really is convenient the way the foot works. I'm going to show you just at a better angle what it looks like when I stop. Okay, now if you don't like the foot going up, I'm going to see a little picture coming up of me using the knee leverage. So sometimes when you stop, you don't like the way that's up, because it doesn't go down until you press the foot pedal. Well, you just do what I showed you with the knee lever, and you press it all the way, and it goes back flush to it. So it's really easy to use, and you can use it both ways. I've gotten used to it and much better at it, at starting with the foot slightly up, and it catches right away, unless I have a lot of embellishments and things that I want the foot to grab onto. And so here we go. And I don't have any rules stopping on the outside or the inside, whatever works for you. Or that's just the way it is. Whatever is comfortable, it just goes on. Usually I have the magnifying glass on, but I couldn't use that with the camera. And it goes really fast, and it always looks beautiful in my opinion. Now I'm going to get to the end, or for me, what is the end? And I'm pressing the scissors button. You don't really see that, but I'm pressing the scissors button, and it's going to, it should right there take those little stitches and then go up. Wait till the foot comes all the way up before you move it, because then it's cut. Now that's the beginning ones where I have those loose. So what I do is I push them through. I thread them in a needle, and I push them through to the back, and I put them through the zigzags. You can also use glue before the zigzags or after the zigzags. That's up to you, but I feel that it's not going anywhere. Okay, if you like what you saw, please subscribe and like it. If you have any questions, I'm showing you pictures of some finished blocks and the finished quilts right now next to me. And the quilt is already with my grandson, so that goes to show you how happy I am with this, with using this method of applique. Thank you very much. See you.